Good morning, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially December 5th, and Donald Trump is still, by far, not even close, the best president in American history. Patriots, it is really good to see you in the chat, and always glad that you're joining us here on the Bald Brad channel to get your news early on in the morning. We got a lot of news to cover today, just like always. Now, surprisingly, the news cycle ends usually on Thursday, kind of Wednesday into Thursday. Friday, there's not really much news to cover. You're kind of getting the tail ends of everything going into the weekend. This is all where the media also love to kind of just throw things at you and hope that you don't see it because nobody wants to pay attention on the weekends. Matter of fact, unbeknownst to you, a lot of people's podcasts, especially when they're in the conservative movement or just kind of the news industry, those are usually the worst performing shows, because everybody's just kind of tuned out, and there's nothing to be wrong with that, or there is nothing wrong with that. Everybody gets that sometimes you need to take away some time or put some time away from getting into the politics and the craziness of the world and dive into a little bit of something different. So, but we got the FBI arresting the 2021 DNC and RNC pipe bomb. We also have some more stuff going on with the Minnesota. Excuse me, hold on one second. There we go. I had to fix something. We also have the Minnesota debacle going on as well. So we're going to make sure that we dive into a little bit of that. But before we do so, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate your love, your kindness, and support in helping the show grow. And one way you could do that is by hitting that like button. The other way you could do it is by, giving a donation. But that is only up to you. And that's only if you want to. Don't feel like you're forced to. Nobody's going to judge you if you don't. And with that being said, let's head into the news today. The big news of the day, and a little bit towards the tail end yesterday, was we know who the pipe bomber is now. Matter of fact, we know even his name. His name is Brian Cole. And this is a story that, quite frankly, the mainstream media wasn't really wanting to cover before. But now what they're having to do is scramble to try to take this weird cockamamie clay figure that they tried to mold themselves and to reshape it. Because the facts cut directly against their entire political narrative that we've been force-fed since January 6th. For 5 years, man, Democrats, the corporate press, Biden's DOJ, if you recall, they all insisted that the pipe bombs that were planted outside the DNC and the RNC on January 5th, 2021, that was the works of MAGA extremists. And I'm not going to let that down, because it's constantly them taking these mass shooters, these extremists, all these people are doing these cockamamie psycho things and saying it's our fault. And then when you start reading the shell casings, they're dating some trans dude. They have their manifesto that's all about trans and hating Trump and all this other stuff. They may have been a Trump supporter, I don't know, like a decade ago. Sure. Not anymore. They used to claim that and smear Trump supporters, if you recall, as domestic terrorists. And it wasn't just the corporate media doing this. If you recall, and I always bring this up because nobody else wants to talk about it, is Joe Biden's DHS advisory board labeled all of you, every single person in this chat, by the way, you are deemed a terror risk in the United States of America. All of you, every single one of you. Why? Because you're either a religious person, or you're a Trump supporter, or you don't have to be a Trump supporter, just as long as you're MAGA, which is Make America Great Again. That's the kind of the phraseology they use. Or you ever served in the military. Meaning you could be a current service member, or you were a prior service member. You are deemed a terror risk. It's an or statement. It's not an and. You just be one of them. Or all of them. Kamala Harris, when this happened, some calculations were that she was literally only like 20 feet away from the DNC bomb. And yet she never mentioned it. Like ever. The FBI under Biden. One moment. The FBI under Biden said they had no leads. Zero. Nothing. Not a clue. And then, all of a sudden this week, the entire wall of silence cracks. According to newly unsealed charging documents, the FBI has now arrested 30-year-old Brian J. Cole Jr., a man from Woodbridge, Virginia, who already planted both bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 5th. If you were with me yesterday for the normal podcast, or you were with me during Dark MAGA, and I wish that I could go and just play back what I said. Did I not tell you verbatim that this was the type of photo that they were going to show? Did I not call it was going to be like some graduation photo from way back when, making the guy or gal look good? Did we not call it? I was spot on, and you know it. You remember full damn well that's exactly what I said. By the way, for all the lurkers, everybody's saying hi to you guys. Lurkers means that you're not writing in the live chat, but you're listening, and that's cool. We get it. So the charges that this guy got was transporting explosives across state lines, attempted destruction of property. He got hit with using commercial supply chains like Home Depot and Walmart to buy bomb components, which is odd because that would kind of imply then that they were able to track him back to places like Home Depot or Walmart and have like the receipts and see where he bought this stuff. So the reason why I think the charges are important and why I'm highlighting that last one is because sometimes you're not sure really if they got the guy. And you're almost like, I don't know, man. Like, you got this guy from his sneakers, his Nike Cortezes. Like, really? Like, on that potato of a video and the gate. If they're tracking this individual and they got receipts, it seems like, of him purchasing stuff that can make a pipe bomb around the time that this all took place at Home Depot and Walmart, might be the guy. Might be. Johnny Mullins, thank you so much for the $2. Shout out. Johnny Mullins, thank you so much for the $2 over at YouTube. God bless you. Heck yeah, the donations are rolling in, some would say. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Always nice to see you guys contributing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, again, we called out that this was going to happen, but the fact that they're tracing back again these receipts is actually a little bit more, I guess, credible is what you could call it. That this might be a little legit. And here's the twist that I got preparing for the show today. No one was hurt. Yet Democrats milked this event politically for years. And now the suspect is not a Trump supporter. He's not some right-wing activist, but the son of a man who ran a bail bond operation explicitly designed to help illegal immigrants evade ICE. Isn't that ironic? Oh, yes, I know. Some of you are like, Brad, hold on a second. I was working the clickety clackety of my keyboard. Were you tying in? Were you tying in illegal immigration to the pipe bomb story, Brad? Are you merging the two? You can't be doing this to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. You saw the title of today's podcast. Oh, I am. This individual was the son of a man who ran a bail bond operation explicitly designed to help illegal immigrants evade ICE. So let's go into the family business. Because the media don't want to tell you about it, but I will. I don't give a bleep, man. I'm going to tell you about it. That's why you come here. So let's read directly from the reporting itself. Quote, Brian Cole Jr. worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked for free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities, worked to free them, rather, and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security, end quote. Now remember, there's never any motive. You know, there's no clues out there on who this guy is. He's just some rando. This is where it gets fascinating. Cole Sr. and his son ran multiple company names, a business model that profited off of illegal immigration. It's called Statewide Bonding Incorporated, one of their companies, and advertised immigration bonds designed to secure the release of illegal immigrants and ensure court appearances. And the same company sued Donald Trump's DHS, arguing that the administration's enforcement policies were, quote, unfair. And here comes the timing, baby. On November 10th, 2020, their lawsuit against Trump's DHS gets tossed out by the D.C. Court of Appeals. Just a month later, in December of 2020, financial fallout and legal sanctions escalated against Cole Sr.'s business. Well, a month after that, guess what happens on January 5th, 2021? Pipe bombs placed by both major political party headquarters. Look, I'm not assigning any motives. All I'm saying is the timeline is a little interesting here. Your lawsuit's tossed out on November 10th. December, you're having a financial fallout and legal sanctions escalating against your businesses. And then a month after that, you're planting pipe bombs. Little strange. Right? A little odd. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think there's something here. And I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm some dude in a closet doing a podcast. But the media, well, they're pretending this is irrelevant. It's nothing. The immigration thing is nothing. The lawsuits are nothing. The financial fallout's nothing. His kid allegedly planting pipe bombs is nothing. Just nothing. Nothing here. But the story actually gets even deeper. Yeah, now I got you on the edge of your seat. Now you're ready to go, huh? Now you're listening. In 2021, Cole Sr. held a press conference with somebody named Benjamin Crump. It's a high profile, it's right here, Benjamin Crump. High profile attorney who is famous for representing the families of Trayvon Martin and George Floyd. If this isn't a synchronous merging together of Democrat stories over the last decade, I don't know what is. This is incredible. Cole Sr. claimed that he was a victim of racial persecution. It's always racial persecution. It's always some sort of discrimination. It's never the individual's fault. It's always somebody else's fault for racial discrimination, something like that. Well, he was a victim allegedly of racial persecution by a local prosecutor who had questioned the ethics of his bail bond operation. I mean, hey, buddy, why are you letting out illegal immigrants? I mean, I think we could all question the ethics of that. Why are you representing illegal aliens and then you're allowing them to be set free into the interior of the country and still be illegal? Crump said this, quote, "It's appalling. We want these allegations investigated at the highest level of government," end quote. So there's a lot here that we covered so far, and there's more. Don't go anywhere. Oh, there's more. Hit that like button if you're enjoying what you're hearing. I want to recap this really quick. The father ran a company intertwined with immigration activism, sued Trump's DHS, lost that lawsuit, faced sanctions for financial misconduct, teamed with a major left-wing activist attorney, claimed systemic racism by local prosecutors, all while his son was allegedly purchasing bomb materials over a 2-year period. I want to point something out. This is not the profile of a MAGA extremist. This is a profile of a politically active, left-aligned family involved in immigration litigation and racial activism. And it's astonishing to me how little media coverage these connections are actually getting. And it won't, even after my podcast, folks, it's not like we make a big splash on this stuff. We get like 250 views on YouTube. We get another like 250, 300 views on Rumble. On a good day, we're getting 1,000 views all combined on all platforms. 1,000 people are going to hear this out of millions. But our job is still to get it out there in the case it does go somewhere where people actually listen. In 2025, this year, the Tennessee Court of Appeals sanctioned Cole Sr. for repeated misconduct, lying about his financial background. See, Donald Trump gets possibly thrown into jail for things like that, I guess. But if you're somebody else, it's fine. Hiding 2 bankruptcies, concealing tax liens. Hold on a second. I got to take a swig. This is so wild. I would say, and I think a lot of you are with me on this, this person, Cole Sr., I don't mean to be a jerk, isn't exactly the model citizen. We all make mistakes, man. Look, I am not, there's no judgment here. I'm a sinful man. I am not better than anybody. Matter of fact, a lot of you are probably better than me. I'm a knucklehead. I make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of sinful mistakes. I'm open about it. But I'll tell you what, this guy, not exactly a role model. So again, this is the ecosystem the son, Brian Cole Jr., was raised in. A father engaged in what, like high stakes litigation against Trump administration, we could say, pushing narratives of racism, financial desperate crap under legal fire, and tied to left-wing political activism. But don't worry, because Democrats spent 5 years blaming the pipe bomb on Trump supporters. How is it that the Democrats and the mainstream media get this wrong so often? If you really think about it, it's actually incredible how almost every time they are legitimately wrong. I actually can't remember the last time they were right, and I'm being trying to be nice and kind. I really don't know. This part of the story that we're about to go into is the part that the media really, and I mean really, doesn't want to talk about. This is the part that pisses them off. This is the part that they're scrambling and trying to reshape. This is the part that they don't like. FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino released a statement. They said, quote, "When we came into the FBI in March, the pipe bomb investigation had been stalled for 5 years. We rebuilt it from scratch. Today is the result," end quote. The translation of that: the Biden FBI didn't want to solve this case. The Trump FBI solved it in 8 months. Under Biden, this case conveniently disappeared. And under Trump, it was reopened, and within months, the suspect was caught. I mean, this is devastating to the prior DOJ. And the fact that Trump solved it once again, while solving all these wars, while solving immigration, while solving inflation, while bringing in trillions of dollars in investments from other countries, flying all over the world, solving wars and fixing people's problems, blah, blah, blah. We also get the pipe bomb suspect. And they can't wrap their head around this, how this guy, Donald Trump, is doing it all. They can't fathom it. You want to know why? is because all their politicians over there suck. That's why. The best person they have right now is Gavin Newsom. And people think that guy's amazing. I'm not going to get into it. We got more pipe bomb story. But just know, he's terrible. We were told for, I don't know, years that the cell phone data didn't exist. Yeah, there's nothing, no pings, nothing. What cell phone data? What guy? Who are you talking about? Just forget about it, you guys. Forget about it, is what we're told. He was a MAGA extremist. We're looking for him, but don't forget about it. The charging documents say that this individual, Cole Jr.'s phone pinged near both bomb sites. His vehicle was captured on multiple cameras. You gotta be shitting me, man. I really wish you guys were with me on Dark MAGA, because I also talked about the fact that there's 39,000 videos. They did 1,000 interviews, all this stuff prior, and got nothing before under the Biden administration. But now we got cell phone pings. Seems like we got receipts from Home Depot and Walmart for bomb making equipment. Not that the receipt says that, but you get what I'm saying. At this point, it wouldn't shock me if Home Depot wrote in words by their cashier, like, "Hey, this looks like the guy's making a bomb. For the love of God, help." So, and then they're getting his freaking car on video. Just driving. License plate and all. Follow him back to his home. We don't know who he is. Yeah, we saw the guy unloading a few pipe bombs, but we figured it might have not been him. It was racial profiling is what it was, or some stupid cockamamie thing I'm sure they'd concoct. Look at this. God. I love this show so much. I have so much fun doing this. Look at this. His purchases of galvanized pipes and timers were logged. When you read through this and you start going through all this stuff like I have to do before the show starts, it really is baffling that Joey and his dumbass wasn't able to figure this out. But Gino and Cash Patel are like, yeah, we just looked at the guy's receipts and we looked at the video and just followed him home and we saw that he bought pipe bombs. Yeah, we traced it back to his Nikes and his gait and his walk and his ankle rolls. Yeah, it's the guy. Yeah, he had a bomb shelter in his basement that said, "I hate Trump, I hate MAGA extremists, I'm not one of them." Now, I added that last part in there to be fair. That part was satirical, but everything else was true. He had been accumulating these parts since 2019. And the Biden DOJ claimed for years that no suspect could be found. Dan Bongino, Cash Patel really kicked this thing off probably around March, realistically, and had this guy basically by the end of November. They were probably just crossing their T's, dotting their I's. So less than 10 months they got this guy. Joey couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we know why Joey couldn't do it in 4 years. One, he didn't want to. And second, Christopher Wray was running the FBI and he had a bunch of nut jobs around the country. So it seems like now we're getting back to some sort of normalcy. It's just funny how all that works, right? And that the same DOJ that used geofence data to arrest grannies who took selfies outside the Capitol and inside the Capitol somehow missed the guy that was planting bombs at the DNC and RNC. Yeah, oh no, yeah, they'll track your hot dog receipt of you not even being a part of the Capitol riot on January 6th, but you were 8 blocks away getting yourself a little bit of chili dog, and well, now you're in the brig, Grandma. They're able to track all that. Yeah, they'll look at your gate from the walking of the cane and get inside your taxi cab, but this guy couldn't find him. I know. Who the hell are you? Who are you? Unbelievable. We're not done yet, folks, but before we get to that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate the love and kindness you guys support me. That thumbs up button really does help over at YouTube and Rumble. Appreciate you. Is it somebody's birthday today? Was it Dan Bongino's birthday when this stuff happened? Is that what happened? Is that why people are saying happy birthday? I love it when Brad cracks himself up. I laugh all the time. It doesn't come across too well in the show, but I do. I laugh at everything. It's got me in trouble, Miss Mom. And for those on audio, Miss Mom is the name of the person's username here and longtime supporter of the Bob Brad Show. We're not done yet. I just had to catch my breath because the media narrative really collapses here. I mean, when I say that they were wrong about this, man, not even close, baby. The pipe bombs were actually the centerpiece story of the January 6th narrative. They were used to say, these bombs, that Trump supporters are terrorists, all of you. The right is the violent people, and January 6th was coordinated extremism. Now, just wait for this. Now, the suspect is, I'm sorry, dude, this is just insane. Not a Trump supporter. He's not a conservative. He's connected to a pro-illegal immigration activism from a family suing Trump's DHS, affiliated with a business caught lying to courts, politically aligned to left-wing civil rights activists, and allegedly building bombs for nearly 2 years before January 6th. I mean, the narrative isn't just crumbling, folks. It's reversing. Oh, my God. So what does this all mean as we move forward here? Like, what's going to happen? And the obvious question I would say Congress needs to ask, like now. And these are the ones that I proposed, but I added a few for those that are on Dark MAGA, okay? So I added a few. Why did the Biden DOJ stall this investigation? And I hope we get answers to that. Why did Kamala Harris, and this is the one I can't, I don't get it. Dan Bongino didn't get this either. We don't know. Why did Kamala Harris never mention that she was yards away, feet away from the bomb? That one for years has been sitting up here. A woman that is dramatic already, that wants to use everything in her power to be a victim, conveniently mentions nothing that she was a survivor of a pipe bomb attack. Now, the pipe bomb never went off, but it's still an attack. Well, a little convenient, right, guys? Just didn't want to mention it ever. Why did Democrats repeatedly imply that MAGA was responsible? And why did geolocation work for the J6 defendants? And it worked for a lot of them, a lot of people. But for some reason, just oddly, it didn't work for this one. Did political pressure suppress leads on this because they didn't fit your narrative? I'd like to know that one too. And here's the most uncomfortable question. Did the FBI under Biden, keyword intentionally, avoid solving this case? Because the moment Trump team took over, case was solved pretty damn quickly. Now, obviously, the case isn't over. It's starting. To be fair, this guy's innocent until proven guilty. So right now he's innocent. And for 5 years, the American people, the public, was told a convenient myth, a lie. So to bring this home, before we move on to our next story, now we learn the suspect came from a family fighting Trump's policies. The father partnered with left-wing activists like Benjamin Crump. The family business depended on illegal immigration. The father had a history of lying to the courts. Biden's DOJ let the case rot, and Trump's DOJ solved it immediately. It's a damn good story. It's a very good story. Now, really quickly, this is what I love doing, is I love building a case for all of you and a story and everything that goes on by it's all legit. And just display how the media was so freaking wrong and that they couldn't get it right. I can't wait to show you guys this. Hold on. Stop it. Simmer down. I just spent the last 30 minutes displaying how freaking wrong the media was. Okay? Not even close. Hold on. Fuck, I can't even look at it. I already have it on my monitor, and that's why I'm laughing. All right. Simmer down. I'll show you. Hold on. CNN's Jake Tapper labels the J6 pipe bomber suspect Brian Cole a 30-year-old white man. No way. There's no way.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home in Woodbridge, Virginia this morning. Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transport. D.C. suburbs is from the D.C. man from the old white man from old white man from old white man from the 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 D.C. old white man from the D.C. suburbs is old white man from the D.C.
You get this whole thing wrong for 5 years. Fucking pictures on the screen. The guy's pictures right here. He's fucking 30-year-old white man. I can't do this anymore, bro. I can't do it anymore. I mean, typical CNN, right? Oh, shit. Wow. And hold on a second. I'm actually in pain from laughing. That's incredible. They just can't get it right, man. They can't. Oh my God. You really, you don't understand how giddy I was. And I've been sitting on this for 30 minutes to connect it. And really that was the punch. That was the punchline right there. Doing the show is very similar to comedy. I had you pulled in. And then what did I do? Just, well, bam, uppercut it with the end there. That's insane. Oh my God. You know, it's things like that that keep me going. It's things like that clip from CNN. That keep me going. Just the fact. It would be different if the dude's face wasn't plastered on the screen while he's saying it. Maybe a little bit different. It makes it so much better that there is a straight up black dude on the screen and he said he was white. And by the way, if the races were reversed and it was a white guy on the screen and they said he was black, it would still be hilarious to me because they can't for the life of them get basic reporting correct time and time and time again. It really, it's unbelievable. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. You can't. Oh, my goodness. Well, the question is that what do you give someone who is already having everything that they want? Well, you give them a little bit of sizzle, folks. And Chicago Steak Company is the sizzle you want to give them. Head to chicagosteak.com, code Santa229. Again, head to mychicagosteak.com, code Santa229. And we're talking the top 2% of beef in America here. USDA prime and premium Angus, hand cut by master butchers, folks. The kind of marbling, oh, I love this, that hits a screaming hot pan and fills the whole house with that smell. My mouth is watering right now. You know the one that I'm talking about. You know that smell and you know that sizzle. Right now, you spend $229 on any holiday order and they'll send you 6 free petite ribeyes plus free shipping. That's $240 in premium steak, absolutely free, folks. This is always the gift you want to give a guy, by the way. Always. I mean, if you don't know what to get a guy, this is a shoo-in. And the presentation, these arrived in what you'll get when they come, it's awesome, is you're going to get a gift box packed with dry ice, and opening it feels like Christmas morning. So this isn't another sweater. This is a dinner that becomes a memory, man, and the guy's going to love you for it, especially if you make it for him. Just let him sit in his lazy boy, put his feet up, and you just serve him that steak with a little bit of butter on it. MyChicagoSteaks.com. Promo code SANTA229. Again, that's SANTA 229. Use that promo code, and you are good. As Tim Allen used to say, wait. There you go. Love that. All righty. I still can't believe that shit from Jake Tapper, dude. Oh, boy. Hold on a second. Let me do this. And let me do that. And I got to pull up our next story here for all of you. But that was hilarious, man. That was really, really funny stuff. I mean, it takes like the wind out of you when things are that funny, because it is just awesome. Alrighty, our next story is regarding the Minnesota fraud that's happened under Tim Walz over there in Minnesota, and he's under kind of a lot of doo-doo right now. Kind of like Joey's diaper. Joey was always under a lot of doo-doo. What we have here is the House Oversight Committee has opened a full-blown investigation into what might be one of the largest fraud scandals in like state history. And it all happened under Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison. Now, if you're with me for Dark MAGA yesterday, then this is going to sound very familiar to you. And I explicitly told all of them yesterday in the Dark MAGA that I wanted to make sure that all of you were kind of on top of what was going on here regarding this fraud story. And one second. Got to fix this. And what we have here is a massive fraud case. And it is kind of odd that it's not getting more attention out there on the mainstream media. And so what I want to do is dive a little bit deeper into what prosecutors call the largest COVID fraud scheme in the entire United States. And yes, once again, just like many news stories here, this one is tied to Minnesota, government oversight failures, and a web of nonprofit and political connections that the media really, really doesn't want you looking too closely at. And I'm going to add more into my show prep here from yesterday's podcast of Dark MAGA. And if you're unfamiliar with what Dark MAGA is a 4 p.m. podcast every Tuesdays and Thursdays for Rumble Premium members only. and we broke this case down, but it's so important. We need to bring that piece of the show over here to the Balt Brad Show so everybody gets it. Because the story isn't just about fraud, man. What you will find out here in the next 10, 15 minutes is this is systemic corruption, government incompetence, and special interests, and how progressives turned a humanitarian program into a criminal cash machine. Oh, and it's bad. And we were talking a boatload of money. There's this individual called Amy Bach. It's a 44-year-old founder of this organization called Feeding Our Future. And Amy was convicted this week of federal charges of wire fraud, bribery, conspiracy, and abuse of a federal child nutrition programs. The scheme that she had here was she and her accomplices falsely claimed to have fed 91 million meals to underserved children during the COVID shutdowns. Prosecutors are saying that that group stole $250 million in taxpayer funds, and that money was intended to feed hungry children. I mean, that kind of it's already bad because you're stealing people's money. But doesn't that make it even worse? And doesn't that give you a little bit more of a glimpse of the type of person this individual was? That you claimed to feed hungry children, but you stole the money rather than actually feeding hungry children? Probably a MAGA extremist, right? Probably a Trump supporter. Probably somebody like that. It turns out no. Instead, they spent your hard-earned money on luxury cars, international travel, real estate in Minnesota, Ohio, and Kentucky, oddly enough, and properties abroad in Kenya and Turkey. Now, the media and the Democrat Party want you to think this is some sort of clerical error. I want to emphasize this. They keep pushing this crap about some sort of clerical error. Oh, it's a missed typo, oopsie. No, this wasn't I was a public accountant and auditor, not for a long time, but enough to understand it and do it. I'm going to tell you right now, and I know that you know this. You don't just make a $250 million clerical error. No, this wasn't some minor bookkeeping error that they keep saying. It was a machine, man. A massive coordinated theft operation designed as charity. Here's where this scheme happened under a pandemic policy. Basically how this scheme worked and where the failures of that policy under the pandemic came in. Because the pandemic restrictions, the USDA during that time loosened a lot of rules just across the country. It didn't really matter what the policies were. A lot of things were loosened, even healthcare, right? They let a lot of people in the healthcare system that shouldn't have been. Well, the USDA loosened rules for child meal programs, where meals no longer had to be served at schools. For-profit restaurants could participate in this program now. Oversight was also drastically weakened. Amy Bach exploited this weakness because anyone else, she exploited this weakness better than anyone else. Let's say it that way in the country. There's other people that were doing this. She's the one that got caught. She's the one that kind of was the top tier, the head honcho, the bigwig, the one that everybody wanted. The prosecution revealed there was 250 fake meal sites, fraudulent invoices, bogus attendance sheets featuring random children's names, just completely made them up, massive inflated meal counts submitted to Minnesota's Department of Education. Her co-defendant is somebody by the name of Salim Ahmad. These names are difficult for me. Salim Ahmed, 36-year-old, owner of Safari Restaurant, submitted phony claims of feeding thousands of children a day, every day. This money was literally intended to stop child hunger. Folks, $240 plus million was stolen from kids. The Democrats are stealing money from children now. So before they're like, let's take it from the adults and just steal it from them. And that wasn't good enough for these greedy freaking sons of you know what. So now they're like, we got to take it from the kids. Yeah, your wallets weren't deep enough, you guys. You're living paycheck to paycheck. They found out you don't have any money anymore. So they're like, we're going to take it from the kids. So now they don't have any money either. So nobody has any money. Why? Because it's going to everybody else's pockets. Isn't it lovely? Yeah. Isn't it dark? It's disgusting. That's what it is. Instead of it going to hungry children, it went to some mansions and Mercedes. And the broader pattern here that the media loves to ignore is this is not even the original story. Because Minnesota's COVID fraud program is much bigger than this one case. Check this out. Federal investigators, including the House Oversight Committee, have found, wait for it, because you thought it was just $250 million. No. What they found was 240 million stolen from Feeding Our Future. That's the one we just covered. They also found $104 million stolen through Minnesota Housing Aid. $14 plus million stolen through fake autism services. So they're stealing money from hungry children. And now, to make matters worse and make it compounding, they're stealing money from people that have autism. Do you think these people are a little sick? Think they're a little sick in the head? Yeah. Now, there's some math involved in this. Don't worry, I got you. It's nearly $360 million in fraud tied to Minnesota in just the past few years. $360 million. This isn't a coincidence, man. It's not. It's not a clerical mistake. It's not a bookkeeping thing. No. Minnesota's government agencies have repeatedly failed to enforce federal eligibility rules, cross-check identities, verify nonprofit claims, audit disbursements. And in case after case, what's wild is whistleblowers warned the state about this. And the state ignored them, you guys. So it wasn't like they didn't know. It wasn't like, oh, well, I never heard about this. This guy just plopped on my desk. No. There had been red flags and alarm bells going off for a while. They literally ignored them. And that is not my political opinion. Matter of fact, I haven't even given you my opinion yet. Very rarely do I actually give you my opinion because truthfully, my opinion doesn't matter. You come here for the news. So let's address the elephant in the room, the Minnesota political dimension to all this. Several individuals charged in the Feeding of Our Future scheme has ties to the Minneapolis Somali American community. Some defendants previously attended community events with Representative Ilhan Omar, who is on your screen right here, or donated to her campaign before the fraud was uncovered. Now, I have to be fair, just because I'm not a fan of Ilhan Omar, I have to give her some credit. She did return the donations and publicly condemn the fraud. I'm giving credit where credit's due. I'm fair like that. See, I'm a nice guy. But this raises some questions. Why were community nonprofits and meal sites operating with almost no oversight? Why was the state's Department of Education approving wildly inflated claims without verification? And how did a nonprofit, like a small nonprofit, balloon from a few $1 million in grants to over $200 million in under 2 years? I think they went from like $40 million in grants to like $200 million in the span of like 1 year or something like that. Something wild. I mean, this didn't happen in some vacuum, man. This happened because Minnesota's political class created an environment ripe for exploitation. Do you notice a theme with Democrats? It's just the government in general. It doesn't have to be Democrats. They create things in such a way that can be exploited, where we all as the taxpayers always get screwed. and so many of their exploitation always benefits. Do you notice that's always a theme with government, which is why I want small government? I don't trust those bastards. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. I don't trust them. Because I'm the one that I and all of us are always the ones that have to foot the bill. We're always the ones that get screwed. Now, as you know, Governor Tim Walz is a failure. I mean, he has tried so hard to distance himself from this scandal. It's head spinning. But the problem is the facts are undeniable. His administration are the ones that oversaw the program. The fraud warning signs and the warnings themselves from whistleblowers and others came in early. His agencies dismissed red flags and approved the payments anyway. In fact, the Minnesota Department of Education, you're going to love this, attempted to stop the fraud late and only after inspectors raised alarms. Republicans slammed Walz for being asleep at the wheel, as you can imagine, and rightfully so. And Walz's response to that was, quote, "We just need to put more firewalls and security so criminals aren't able to prey on this," end quote. Well, you say this after conveniently $250 million vanished. Firewalls, security, oversight. Now you want those, Tim? Where was it before with all the red flags and the alarm bells going off, buddy? What we're witnessing, it seems like we're always breaking records here, especially with Joe Biden and his illegal immigration and all the other stuff he did. It's amazing that we're witnessing the largest child nutrition fraud that's ever happened in this country's history. And it happened under Tim Walz's watch. And he was almost vice president. And if you think this type of stuff is only happening in Minnesota, oh, it's happening in California, man. And that's what I was going off on about Dark MAGA last night with Gavin Newsom. Oh, wait till you uncover what's going on in our state with the millions and billions of dollars vanishing left and right. Oh, boy, it runs deep in my state. Oh, the fraud runs deep with Gavin. I mean, the sheer scale of this operation is wild. Bach and claimed that they fed 5,000 kids a day, 10,000 kids a day there, and hundreds of thousands per month. So they're feeding 5,000 here, 10,000 there, hundreds of thousands per month. Minnesota's population, just want to point out, this is how stupid these people are. Minnesota's population didn't even support the meal counts being claimed. I mean, how common is it that Democrats throw something at us like elections where more people are voting than are able to vote? You're feeding more children at one meal site than actually lived in the surrounding city. How is that possible? Nobody checked. Nobody asked. They're just eating quadruple meals. They're being fed up the wazoo. Nobody cared until federal agents raided the offices in 2022. Before the trial, another defendant in the Feeding Our Future case attempted to bribe a juror by delivering a bag containing $120,000 in cash. You think this runs deep? You think this has bigger spider webs when you're just rolling around with $120K and you try to bribe somebody? Another $200,000 was allegedly on standby. So not only did they want to give $120,000 in bribery to some juror, but they also had, hey, I'll give you the rest of it later. It's $200,000. This prompted strict juror anonymity, increased security, restricted courtroom access. When criminals are bribing jurors with duffel bags of cash, you know you're not dealing with a small-time crook thing here. I mean, this is a criminal enterprise masquerading as charity, man. This is nuts. Now, the sentencing is ahead here. Both Amy Bach and Salim Said are being held without bail and face decades in federal prison, massive forfeiture of assets, and mandatory restitution. Allegedly, other defendants have already received up to 10 years of federal prison. And the government is working to recover real estate, luxury vehicles, offshore purchases, cash frozen in hundreds of bank accounts. I mean, this case is far from over, man, and it's only going to unravel more and more. But let's zoom out on this whole thing. Let's kind of look at the holistic view before we close this up. The Feeding Our Future scandal is a perfect example of what happens when government expands too fast, when oversight collapses and ideology trumps accountability. You could see that nonprofits become political machines. Activists will gain access to federal cash with no strings attached, and they're going to exploit it. I mean, this scheme never could have succeeded if basic auditing, man, and verification were in place. There's always a reason why the Democrat Party and politicians and government never want to be audited. And if they are audited and fail, nothing happens to them. But if you were to be audited, everything happens to you. And instead, during COVID, trillions were rushed out the door. Oversight was gutted. Nobody cared. Politicians rewarded favored nonprofits. You know, they got to pick and choose like a buffet what they liked and didn't like. Bureaucrats rubber stamped applications, and criminals saw an opening. And man, they took it to the tune of $250 million just in one area. We're talking billions of dollars in fraud happened. And children, the very people the program was supposed to feed, got nothing. Those people with autism got nothing, because this is some sadistic stuff. This wasn't just the biggest COVID fraud in the nation. This was a case study in government failure. And we are still not hearing accountability from Governor Tim Walz or the Minnesota bureaucrats or even federal agencies that approved these payments in the first place. But don't worry, the Biden administration is just making the claim of, well, this is just one isolated case. It's not. I'm raising the red. It is not. It's a pattern. Massive COVID fraud, massive welfare fraud, massive immigration fraud from the benefits, massive nonprofit fraud, massive fraud happening in other states. And they're mostly Democrat-ran areas. And nearly every single time, man, it occurs in states run by Democrats who prioritize ideology over accountability. And the real victims here is all of us, the taxpayers, the children who never received the meals, the people that are supposed to get autism help, those people, and the communities left to deal with the fallout. Those are the victims. I mean, it's not a scandal Minnesota could sweep just under the rug, but they're going to try. But this is what happens when big government prioritizes slogans over stewardship. This is what happens when you continue to make your government so big that nothing happens to anybody. And we're the ones that get screwed. It's always us that get screwed. It's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But thank you always for joining me here on the Bald Brad Show. Hopefully I did not miss anybody's donations. Matter of fact, let me refresh and see if we have any activity here. And I apologize if I missed people's donations. Un momento, please. I don't know why it's not showing up the one earlier. But if I did miss anybody's donations, I apologize. Karen, Catmom, Betts, or Jeff will let me know, or Pat. My moderators will let me know if I missed anybody. As a father of 2 autistic girls, it's frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating, man. That's terrible. I mean, dude, I'm trying not to cuss, and I'm going to do a lot better job next year of not cussing here on the show and trying to change things up a little bit to not get flagged by YouTube as much. Dude, this is some sadistic stuff, man. This is some really, really sadistic stuff. I mean, when you're taking money from freaking children, I don't know, dude, that's just some wild stuff. And then you're going after autists. Ugh. I'm not surprised. Well, appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you found this news valuable and that you felt like you got something out of it. Yeah, there's some darkness there, man. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back here Monday with more Dark MAGA. Be on the lookout for Spooky Adventures. Links in the description. We will have a video uploaded tomorrow for all of you. It's already set. Actually, I uploaded it a few days ago, so it's already ready to go. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for those in the chat. Power of prayer is effective. And Brad, don't forget. What am I forgetting? Lulu said, don't forget. What am I forgetting? Brad, don't forget. What the hell am I forgetting? Why are you doing this to me? What am I forgetting? I'm not leaving until somebody tells me what I'm forgetting. What am I? Don't forget what? What am I forgetting? Now you're in my head. Watch your clip. I think I already did. I think you sent me that on Twitter a while ago, right? Cinema Shogun? Or you messaged me somewhere. I could have swore I watched it. That was like a week or two ago, right? It was a black guy, I think, right? Cinema Shogun, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Was there a new clip that he posted? Was it a black guy or a white guy? Oh, no, he wasn't a black guy. He was this guy. Yeah, I did watch it on my own. I didn't play it here on the show, but I watched it, yeah. Did he play another one of me? Isn't that crazy that he doesn't get flagged, but then people use my people that use my content don't get flagged, but my content gets flagged. How does that happen? You have people, and you know, like Elon Musk and stuff has seen our content, just a heads up. You have people like Wall Street Apes post our content, gets 1 million views. There's clearly an app, and people liked it. Thousands of likes. People love my content. So much so that other people are starting to use my content on their channels, which is fine. I have no qualms with that. Use it. Have fun. But how is it they get thousands of views with my content and I don't? What the fuck, man? Yeah, Shogun's great. I have no qualms with it. I like when people use my content. It's free advertising, so I got no qualms with it. But thank you for letting me know, you guys, that because it's cool seeing where you guys see my stuff, because I don't go that far. I don't know all that stuff. So thank you for always linking me. I did see it. Thank you. I appreciate it, Lulu. I should have told you that. I should have responded to your message. I apologize, but I did see that. I did. And if you guys see anything else of me out there, let me know. Find me on X, email me. Everything's there. I will see it and I will check it out because I think it's the coolest thing ever. With that being said, God bless you guys. Take care.